Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode, a special episode of the Kings of the South podcast and NFC South podcast. I am Corey, that is TJ. We are home, your home of the bum ass Panthers, the bum ass
Bum
Falcons,
ass Falcons. Yeah.
the bum ass Saints,
Bum ass
and your,
Saints.
and your three-time defending, reigning, undisputed Kings of the South, your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. How about that?
Yeah. With Baker freaking Mayfield.
I told you. I told you. I
Yeah.
told you.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
did.
man.
He did. Hey, Joe Flacco giving him a run for his money though.
Hey, hey, that's
Comeback player
Flacco.
of the year.
That's Flacco, man. That's Flacco. Uh, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm glad the season's over, so I ain't got to deal with this crap anymore. I can focus on the big stuff, the big deal. Who we gonna hire as
You
GM
know,
and head coach. So and who we sign in free agency. So,
the
you
big
know.
picture.
Big picture,
The big picture
long
guy, ladies
term.
and gentlemen. He's a big picture
Yeah,
guy.
yeah,
Uh,
long term. Yeah,
you know who is no longer a big picture guy, who no longer has to worry about things long term.
yeah. I called
Arthur
it.
Smith. Um, for those who are maybe living under a rock, maybe you know what? Maybe you don't even worry about the pathetic NFC South. Yeah, you're not, you don't care. You don't have to watch it. You're not worried about it. I envy you,
Yeah,
but for those who do, Arthur Smith, the Atlanta Falcons head coach, was fired. Um, 2 minutes into Black Friday, Black Monday,
Black Monday.
2 minutes, 2 minutes, my man. 2 minutes. Uh, to say this is not a shock is an understatement. Um, as a Falcons fan, the writing was on the wall. Um, the moment we lost to uh, the Cardinals, that's
Yeah,
when everything fell apart. Couple that with the embarrassing loss we had to Minnesota, where Josh Dobbs didn't even know his teammate's name. He
yeah,
didn't know his teammate's name, and he just got off the bench as a third string quarterback and diced us up.
yeah,
And not to mention, losing to the uh beforehand, 1 and 14 Panthers at the
yeah,
time.
yeah. He also lost to the Chicago Bears, which apparently every team that's lost to the Chicago Bears this year that's has also lost their coach. Not every team, but like the list of teams that have lost coaches this season have already they did lose to the Bears. So
Mm.
Falcons, Panthers,
Mm.
Raiders.
And it's not even the fact that we lost to the Bears, or we lost to the Vikings, or we lost to the Cardinals, or we lost to hell, the list goes on and on. The Panthers. It's the way that we lost,
Yeah.
and that is why Arthur Smith had to go. You can
Hmm.
say, "Oh, he didn't have the quarterback play." Yeah, you're right. He did not, but he chose his quarterbacks. He chose them.
Yeah.
You can't tell somebody like, "Hey, I can make a great meal if you give me these ingredients," and you get all the ingredients you need to make that meal. And you say, "Well, I know the meal's nasty, but I didn't have the right ingredients." You chose the ingredients, man. You chose
Hmm.
them. Uh,
Yep.
Indulge me for a moment. I just want to run down the list of reasons why Arthur Smith got fired. Offensive head coach, offensive minded coach, after 2 years, two very successful years in Tennessee as their offensive coordinator. He comes to
Hmm.
Atlanta. The cupboard was bare. I will concede to that. And we went 7-10, which it is what it is, 7-10. The following year, I got a little bit better, did better drafting,
Yeah.
7-10. After wasting, well, not wasting, after uh picking a tight end at 4, follow that up with wide receiver at 8, and then We doubled down. You got Bijan Robinson and eight. After another 7 to 10 years. Um,
Yeah.
Arthur Smith made history as the first coach to go 7 to 10 in 3 straight years. Which is
I
a
sent
crazy.
you I sent you that stat last night
Yeah,
or this morning, and I was laughing so hard when I sent
yeah,
it to you because I knew you were gonna be like, "Oh my God, this
yeah.
just puts into a
Oh,
nutshell
I knew,
what this guy was about."
I knew, I knew. Arthur Smith was let go not because of Desmond Ritter did him in. He certainly didn't help him, but
Mm-hmm.
it was a combination of things, the totality of circumstances. This is the offensive-minded head coach. Throughout his 3 year tenure in Atlanta, we scored 30 points in a game only 4 times in 3 years. Uh, we've only had 1,000-yard receiver in 3 years. That is Kyle Pitts, his rookie year. Um,
That's so long ago.
yeah. Who you telling? And Arthur Smith, for whatever reason, just I think he frequently outsmarted himself. Instead of saying, "Hey, I drafted this guy 8 overall. Hey, I drafted this guy 4 overall. I don't care. I'm getting on the ball in the red zone." He goes, "Nah, let me dial up this screen pass to Keith Smith. That'll get it." You got to give your guys the ball, and he just was
Yeah.
showed the propensity just to not do it. And more power to him. That's the way you want to coach your team, fine. But here in Atlanta, if you're gonna have 3 straight top 10 picks, you damn sure better use them. And if you don't,
Mm-hmm.
you don't get showed the door. Also, we got to talk about the staff he put together. Outside of Ryan Nielsen, who's been a godsend, he got us over
Yeah.
40 sacks for the first time in I don't know how long.
Yeah.
Let's talk about his offensive staff he put together. Dave Ragone as the offensive coordinator
Yeah.
and offensive coordinator, right? Because everyone knows he's not calling plays. Someone who has never called plays before. Someone who was a previous running back coach in Chicago / quarterback coach. We bring him here. We make him offensive coordinator. Why? I don't
Yeah.
know. Uh, TJ Yates, who I know what you're thinking. You guys are like, oh, I remember that name going way back when. Wasn't he the quarterback for UNC? You'll be right. Yeah, and I know what you're thinking. You're like, oh, well, certainly he's like a passing game coordinator, or he's I don't know, like a quarterback coach or something. He working, side by side with Desmond Ritter with his development. You'd be wrong. DJ Yates was our wide receivers coach. And if you watch anything about our wide receivers, you know that when we ran our passing offense, our receivers ended up in the same part of the field together. They run into each other on multiple occasions. There's absolutely no spacing in our offense, and that is not partly, mostly due to coaching. You cannot have that. You cannot have that. Um, Now that the book is closed on Arthur Smith, it's just everything, everything that could possibly have went wrong for him. It went wrong. He made a bet. He made a gamble to go with Desmond Ritter, and he crapped out. And it's unfortunate that I don't know why. That just shows the belief that he has in his players, and I commend him for that. Because if my back was against the wall, I'm not depending on Desmond Ritter to do anything football related.
Mm-mm.
But he had conviction, and that's all a man can. That's all you can want for your coach. You want your as a player, you want a coach that go to bat for you. And he went to bat for his players several times, and I respect him for that. I respect him for the accountability and the culture that he left here in Atlanta. But with that being said, you wasn't winning, bruh. You won't winning nothing. You won't win nothing, bro. We can't do it. The red zone offense terrible. Passing game is. If I see another damn 2-man concept in the passing game, just two players going out running to the. They were running two-man concepts where they'll run across the middle of the field and do a dig, like they would do a hitch. So one player will be on right here, like lined up on this side, dig hitch here, and then another will come behind them, hitch here, the same area of the field. High school football by Arthur Smith did not work in Atlanta, and we thank him for all his contributions, and we wish him the best in his future endeavors.
Yeah.
But good fucking riddance.
uh, he'll he'll get a OC job or a coaching job somewhere else. Not a head coach for sure, but
Hear me out.
he could go back to Tennessee.
No, hear me out. OC, Philly,
He likes to run the ball.
they got players. They got a
Yeah.
quarterback. May not be as good as people think he is, but he's a quarterback. He's better than most. But
I mean, what does it say about him as the OC in Tennessee when coaching Ryan Tannehill? Under Arthur Smith, Ryan Tannehill had some of his best seasons. And then you go to Atlanta and it's not the same. And I mean, let's be honest, Ryan Tannehill is not that great of a talent.
I disagree. He's better than.
I mean, yeah, he's better than Desmond Ritter and Taylor Heineke, but he's not a franchise quarterback at this stage in his career, nor when Arthur Smith was there in Tennessee was he a franchise quarterback. He was a good bridge quarterback who won them some division titles. And yeah, it just makes you wonder like what went wrong? What Arthur Smith could have done better.
I'll tell you, he's very stubborn.
He is.
He will not see the error of his ways until it's too late. Till we're out of the division race, or we're out of or his job is on the line, or he's on the hot seat.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So, like I said, wish him the best. I hope he bounced back on his feet. But I mean, he's also the son of a billionaire, so I'm not crying tears for him.
No, no. He'll be all right.
Yeah.
He'll
Uh,
land on his feet
yeah.
somewhere.
Or not, because he's rich, so he don't have to land on his feet. He can, get carried around. Like I said, son of a billionaire. So, enough of him. Other news in the NFC South: Carolina Panthers parted ways.
Yeah.
GM Scott Fitterer. TJ, the floor is yours, buddy.
I am so happy. I've been saying for months now that Scott Fitterer has to go. And, it was always funny listening to these other podcasts and some of these guys on these other networks. And they're talking and they're like, oh, well, he hasn't been fired yet. But, the Raiders fired their GM and their head coach at the same time. Why didn't the Panthers do that? Hey, man, I'd ask the same question, why not? But hey, I'm not David Tepper. Someone said on a podcast today, they said, maybe David Tepper just wanted him to suffer and see his ways, see his error of his ways. Because I've been on record of saying that yes, Matt Rule had he had full roster control, but Scott Fitterer is the one who put all the trades together, all the packages and compensation, right? So, I've been on record of saying that Scott is not exempt from his firing. It is deserved. He also played a huge part in the draft process that nobody wants to talk about. A lot of these players that we drafted over the last 3 years under him, he scouted them. He had a hand in the guys that we drafted just as much as he did with the trade and drafting of Bryce Young. And, for any fans or non fans out there of the Panthers who want to argue the opposite, you're wrong. I mean, you read all the reports everywhere, and they're all coming out as of today because he got fired. But everybody was saying that he had a huge part in scouting and the scouting department and in the draft process. making draft day trades and what the compensation was to trade up to number one, and the trade that we did 3 years ago to get Sam Darnold, Christian McCaffrey, trading him away to San Francisco. I mean, the list goes on. All the trades we've done over the 3 years he's been here. So I am relieved. I am excited because now we have a clean slate, right?
Mhm.
And he actually has a hiring firm that is helping him look for the next GM and head coach for the Carolina Panthers. Something he's never done as the owner. I'm talking about David Tepper.
Mhm.
David Tepper has never had a firm who their job is to come in for an organization and help you go through the process of hiring people. They help do interviews, they help orchestrate everything. It's a smoother process. It's way less clunky than an owner being in charge of everything.
Like a
Um,
blank baby.
so this the hiring firm, and you hear it across the league, because the Commanders are actually doing it as well. The Commanders brought in a hiring firm, a guy who was in the NBA with the Warriors.
Bob
He
Myers.
was, yeah, he was a part of their hiring process and all that. He did scouting for them
Oh
or
no, he was
something.
their GM.
Okay, yeah, sorry, GM. I
Yeah.
don't know much about him, but I just know
Yeah.
he's coming in as part of the hiring firm for the Commanders.
All you need to know about
Um,
Bob Myers is he drafted both Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. So
yeah, yeah. So
yeah,
not
and he
bad.
brought KD in. So yeah,
Yeah, not
he's
bad.
goaded.
Him and Harris, the owner, have a tight relationship because they both were in the NBA
Mm,
for different reasons.
yeah.
But yeah, the hiring firm I think is a great idea, and I think you're starting to see slowly but surely. I think, and Tepper said it a few months ago when he fired Reich. He hinted to fans and to journalists that he has to self-assess and look himself in the mirror because he made a lot of mistakes, and one of which was hiring Frank Reich. Um, Matt Rule, obviously another one. Scott Fitterer, another one. Um,
Letting Steve Wilkes walk.
Letting Steve Wilkes walk. He slowly but surely, I think he's realizing his mistakes, and you can see that he is trying to do this different this time. Having the hiring firm there, a search firm that's going to help you go through the hiring process of your coach and GM, I think is going to be a bigger deal than people realize. From every journalist I've heard from, these reporters are saying that this is the new way of really trying to orchestrate a solid hiring process in your organization, and not just going at the big names that people tell you to go after or what you see on ESPN as a owner of a team.
Mm,
Um, so I'm very excited. There's a lot of great candidates already being requested for interviews by the team, both for GM and for head coach. Um, so I'm very excited, and I have something to look forward to. Yay!
yeah. And just if you're a Panthers fan and you're not excited right now, you deserve a drink thrown on you by David Tepper.
Yes, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you
uh,
do.
um,
I'll drink to that.
yeah. I don't know if you remember, but early before the season started, we gave our keys to success, what both teams need to do in order to win the division and all that. We
Yeah,
said quarterback play was going to be
pivotal.
pivotal for the division, and yeah, turns
Turned out
out,
to be true.
yeah. Um, on the year, Desmond Ritter, uh, completed 64% of his passes with 2,800 yards, 12 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, no, six fumbles. That's not good. Bryce Young, QBR 33, 2,800 yards, 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. I don't want to go into fumbles. I don't know if he had any.
He did. He had a
Yeah,
couple.
two fumbles, two fumbles.
And he got sacked 62 times,
Holy.
which ties a franchise record.
Um, yeah. Uh,
Awful. Awful.
Derek Carr, 68% completion rate, 3,800 yards. Shocking, shocking. 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions.
Really good.
Decent year, right? I didn't
Yeah.
know.
Solid year for a
Yeah,
guy who I feel is kind of overpaid.
yeah. But there can only be one King of the South.
He's about to get paid.
He resides in Tampa Bay, Florida, to be exact. One Baker Mayfield, 4,000 yards, 28 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, led his team to a division title. Let's talk about the impact that Baker Mayfield, also Dave Canales, I'm sorry, I'm tripping. Ooh, all right. Dave Canales has had on Tampa Bay. Um, People were saying that Baker was a bridge quarterback just to get you through the year so you can go ahead and draft Drake May because they're going to be picking in the top two. We both thought they were going to be picking in the top five,
Yeah. At least top 10. At
but
least.
I don't know if you remember the keys to them having a good season. You remember we said the defense is going to have to show up. Turns out they did. Turns out the pieces that they drafted are a lot better and a lot further along than we initially anticipated.
Great
I.e.,
coaching.
Yaya Diaby with 7.5 sacks on the year.
Led the team in sacks. Now, I will say their secondary was dead last in pass defense,
Yeah,
but they finished top 10 in run defense in the NFL.
but they also have all pro, uh, someone who should be on the ballot for the defensive player of the year, Anton Whitfield Jr.
Yeah, should be.
The boy is the man. He ain't no boy. The man is balling. Caused another touchback on a fumble against Carolina with a DJ Chark, inexplicably diving for the pylon. I don't know why
Yeah.
players continue to dive for the pylon. I don't get it. Just lower your head and just run straight through. I don't get it. But that's neither here nor
Yeah.
there. He did the same thing to Desmond Ritter. That game is what got Desmond Ritter benched for Taylor Heineke and sealed our fate as bottom dwellers in the NFC South. Um, the offense looks crisp. It looks concise. It looks like they have a plan every time they take the field. And as we talked about before recording, upset alert. Philly, they picked the wrong time to be shitty.
Hmm.
uh,
I did.
I think they're gonna go into Tampa Bay and get punched in the mouth a little bit because uh, they're terrible against the run, and Tampa Bay likes to run the football. They like to be balanced, but also the secondary stink too.
Hmm.
I expect my boy Mike Evans, top 10 receiver in the league still. His whole career
Hmm.
he's been top 10. Um, I expect him to show up and dominate.
Yeah. I also think Rashad White is going to have a good game. He'll be a pivotal part to the game, I'll say. He definitely needs to show up and show out for them to have a chance. I mean, because let's not get it twisted. I mean, yes, Philly has injuries, but Philly's still got one of the best offensive lines in football. I mean, you can't scoff at what they have, but they have not played well these last 2 months. And I'm curious to see what type of Philly team we're going to get on Monday Night Football for their road playoff game at Tampa.
I think we're going to get more of the same of what we saw. They are who they are. They can't
Yeah.
stop the run. They can't defend the pass. They lost Sidney Brown for the year with an ACL injury.
Hmm.
They were already paper thin at safety. Um, they
Yeah,
got the
Blankenship has kind of struggled lately.
yeah, they got the ghost of Shaq Leonard at linebacker. Uh,
Such an overhyped
oh,
signing.
he's
So
playing so
overhyped.
bad.
He should have went to Dallas, but that's
You
another
know,
conversation.
oh, he's playing so bad. Yeah, I just can't sing enough praises for the job that Todd Bowles has done in the face of adversity. This is supposed to be a year
Yeah,
where they take the majority of their medicine for their cap hits. They lost some key players for the year, injury and free agency,
yeah,
and for the third year in a row, they back on top
yeah.
to
I
beat.
mean, I thought Todd Bowles was gonna be on the hot seat this year, and that is not the case.
Nah, he is firmly entrenched in
Oh
Tampa
yeah,
Bay. Yeah, shout out to them. Shouts out to Jason Light. It seems like they got it right this time. They got it right. It seems like they got a quarterback that they can build around. Someone who's going to get paid, but should not command top of the market money. Which
yeah,
is a good thing because Baker, for all of his mistakes, he's still a former Heisman winner, a number one overall pick. He can do some things.
yeah.
Um,
He, he's a,
so
he's a he's a good quarterback who can be great at times.
yes, and that's all you need in our division.
Mm-hmm.
So shout
Yeah,
out to them. Before we get out of here, let's you know, give a quick list of head coaching candidates we would both like to see with our respective teams. Of course, uh, well, all of our teams are gonna,
yeah,
have both of our teams are gonna have the same guys at the top of the list. Ben Johnson, his work speaks for itself. You see what he
yeah,
did with Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions and turning that
yeah.
whole offense around to one of the better units in the league. Um,
Top 10.
yeah. Bobby Slowick, you see what he's doing with CJ Stroud, someone who probably
Yeah,
should have been in Carolina. Um, the work he's done there with,
yeah,
taking Nico Collins and helping him realize his full potential. The work he did with Tank Dell, the work he's doing with John Mechie and Dalton Schultz, and without a consistent run game, and they're in the playoff.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
uh,
First rookie quarterback and rookie coach to win a division title.
mhm, nothing to sneeze at.
Mm-mm.
And I think they're going to win against they play Steelers, correct?
Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Yeah, that's a tough one. It's in Cleveland,
If
or no, it's in
CJ
Houston.
Stroud,
It's in Houston.
yeah, if CJ Stroud win this game against that defense, he is top five going forward.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's in Houston, but
yeah,
still, I mean,
yeah,
that's still nothing to scoff at. I know people
yeah.
can be like, "Oh, it's Joe Flacco." Dude, have you seen Joe
And
Flacco?
yeah,
He has been balling.
this is like 2009 Flacco, 2000.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah. Of course, Todd Monken, what he's doing in
Todd
in
Monken from
Baltimore.
the Ravens.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have another one. Carolina actually already requested an interview with him. Dave Canellis from Tampa Bay.
Mhm.
That's another OC that's getting a lot of hype with what he's done with not just Baker Mayfield, but did you know that he also revitalized where did he come from? Uh, it was Baker and then another quarterback somewhere else. I forget what division it was, but he used to be a quarterback coach somewhere else. I'd have to look it up while you're talking, but
Mhm.
yeah, Dave Canellis is an under the radar guy. He's 42 years old. He's young. Mike McDonald getting a
Mhm.
lot of momentum. Baltimore, DC, and then a guy that I wouldn't mind, but I know we're probably not going to hire him. Dan Quinn, who we also requested an interview with from the Cowboys.
Mhm. Yeah, this it's a lot of good candidates out there. Like all of you, we just hope our teams make the right decision. Um, and even if they don't, we have no choice. We're still gonna watch because we're degenerates like that. And
Yeah.
yeah, we have no choice. On to Another exciting offseason for both our squads, buddy.
It was yeah, I know. I'm very excited. It was Seattle. He helped with Geno Smith
Gino,
last year.
yeah,
So,
Gino the GOAT.
yeah.
The GOAT. Um, Another top 10 pick. I feel dirty. I feel dirty.
Yeah. Well, at least you have a first round pick. I mean, technically, because of how valuable it is, the 33rd pick is technically a first because it's such a high second round pick.
But, but,
So it's like you're getting a first, kinda,
but
you know.
it's
Hey man,
not.
I know. I'm
It's
just I'm trying to look at it from a positive light
all
here,
good,
Corey.
man. You
Okay.
know,
Jeez.
before we get out of here, I just
Way to
want
ruin my day.
before we get out of here, I just want to like ask you, like, do you knowing what you know now, knowing that you guys would have had the number one overall pick, do you do last year straight if you knew you were going to have no one pick this year? No.
Hell no. I mean, no disrespect to Bryce Young, but I said months ago we shouldn't have done it. We should have kept our pick, kept DJ, and just built for the future that way. And you plop the quarterback in this year, not last year. We could have had Caleb Williams, man.
Yeah,
We could have had Drake May,
yeah. Carolina kid.
Carolina kid.
Yeah, it's gonna suck,
At
man.
worst, or I'm sorry, yeah, yeah. Worst case scenario, we could have had Marvin Harrison Jr. if we
Yeah.
already
Oh,
say,
that's the horror.
you know what I'm saying? Like it say hypothetically we found another quarterback somewhere. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, but yeah, I like Bryce. Don't get me wrong. I got a Bryce Young jersey, but it is frustrating to see what we could have had.
It's gonna be even more frustrating when you see either Caleb Williams, Drake May, or Jaden Daniels in the Falcons uniform next year. So folks, we're gonna get up on out of here. Um, Continue to like, subscribe, continue to follow us on Twitter or X, whatever they calling it these days. Continue to tell your friends about us. Keep this thing rolling, keep us growing, and we appreciate everything y'all do for us.
Yeah.
Next time, folks.
Peace.